We got trapped in an elevator. My perfect date turned on me. The guy beside me didn't. The elevator dies between floors 14 and 15, and my perfect match turns to me like I personally pulled the plug. What did you do? James says, voice sharp, eyes already accusing. For 6 weeks, James has been a highlight reel on my phone. Curated photos, clean captions, voice notes that sound warm and steady. The kind of guy you can imagine introducing to your mother without sweating through your shirt. But right now, trapped in a metal box that smells like cologne and panic, he looks at me like I'm a liability. I press the lobby button, I say, keeping my voice even, like a normal person. The lights flicker. The air changes. Someone behind me inhales like they're about to cry. And I realize with this horrible, sinking clarity that I'm about to be late for the most important first date of my life. Except my date is already here, and he is already disappointing me. Okay, a calm voice says from the corner. Everyone breathe for me. I turn. He's the building guy. The one I've seen in the lobby 100 times carrying tool bags or signing for packages or checking those little red fire extinguisher tags. The one I've never actually spoken to. He steps forward like he belongs in the middle of chaos. He presses the emergency call button with a practiced thumb and leans close to the speaker. Hey, he says, calm like this is just another Tuesday. Cars stopped. Between 14 and 15. We've got 5 in here. Static crackles. Building security. A voice replies. We're aware of the outage. Sit tight. Rescue team is en route. James scoffs. Sit tight. That's your plan? The building guy doesn't look at him. He keeps his tone steady. What's the ETA? Could be 20 minutes, could be an hour, security says. Backup generators down. We're rerouting power and calling the fire department. An hour. In a box. With James. My stomach tightens. James pulls out his phone immediately, like a weapon. No signal. He lifts it toward the ceiling, then toward the doors, like the elevator is going to suddenly reward him. This is insane, he mutters. It's the 21st century. The building's older than it looks, the guy says. Concrete's thick. Signal dies in the shaft. He finally glances at me. Then back to the group. My name's Gavin. I'm building maintenance. If anyone's feeling dizzy or claustrophobic, tell me now. The words settle me a little. Not because they solve anything, but because someone in here sounds like an adult. A woman near the back grips her purse like she's holding on to the last thread of reality. Late 50s, maybe early 60s. Pretty scarf, hands shaking. Gavin steps closer, slow, non-threatening. What's your name? He asks. Vanessa, she whispers. Vanessa. Okay, we're going to be fine. This elevator has multiple safety brakes. It can't free fall. The worst case scenario is we sit here and get bored. Vanessa's breath stutters. I hate small spaces. Totally fair, Gavin says. Do you chew gum? He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small pack. Peppermint. I keep it on me, he says, like that's normal. Chewing helps your brain focus on something you control. Want one? Vanessa takes a piece with trembling fingers and nods hard, like she's grateful for permission to exist. James watches the exchange with a look that makes my skin prickle. I can already hear the voice note version of him in my head. If I ever saw someone struggling, I'd be the first to help. But in real life, he's just irritated that someone else is getting attention. A younger guy in a hoodie shifts his weight and lifts his phone. He angles it toward all of us, the screen glowing in the dim light. No, James snaps instantly. Absolutely not, the hoodie guy shrugs. It's content. People love this stuff. My mouth goes dry. Don't film me. It's a public elevator, he says, like that makes it moral. Gavin's voice cuts in, firm but calm. No one's filming anyone without permission. The hoodie guy tilts his head. Who made you the boss? I'm the one who has to deal with the fallout when residents feel unsafe. Gavin says, put it away. The guy hesitates, then lowers the phone. But I notice he doesn't pocket it. He keeps it ready. My heart starts doing that ugly fast thing, because I know the internet. And I know how a moment turns into a narrative. 10 minutes crawl by. The air warms. My dress sticks to my back. I can hear James's shallow breathing even when he's trying to pretend he's fine. A man in a suit near the doors checks his watch every 30 seconds like he can bully time into behaving. He hasn't spoken yet, but his foot taps a frantic rhythm. A woman with headphones around her neck sits on the floor, knees pulled up, eyes wide like she's storing this for later. Gavin moves through the space like he's managing a tiny, fragile ecosystem. He checks the emergency speaker again. Any update? Fire's on the way. Security says. We're opening the doors manually. Stand by. James huffs. Fire department. Great. So now my date's going to be in a firefighter report. I'm right here, I say, careful. He looks at me like he forgot I'm a person. We had a reservation. I stare at him. We're trapped. There's a woman fighting a panic spiral, and James is worried about a table. James, I say softly, we can reschedule dinner. He shakes his head like I'm naive. You don't get it. I called 3 times to get that rooftop slot. Gavin's eyes flick toward me again. Not pity, not judgment, just this quiet, steady acknowledgement like he understands exactly what kind of moment this is for me. The moment your fantasy meets reality. First date? He asks quietly, leaning closer without making it obvious. My face heats. How did you? You're dressed up, he says. He's dressed up, and you're both acting like strangers who don't know how to be uncomfortable together. A laugh tries to escape me and comes out as a breath. That obvious, I whisper. Little bit, Gavin says. James hears anyway. What are you two whispering about? He demands, his voice too loud in the small space. Nothing, I say. Gavin keeps his tone neutral. Just checking in. James's gaze rakes over Gavin's work clothes, the scuffed boots, the tool belt, and something in his expression shifts into a look I've only ever seen on men who think respect is tied to job titles. Of course, James says, dismissive. Maintenance. The word lands like a slap. Even the suit guy stops tapping for a second. Gavin doesn't react. He just nods once, like he's filing the moment away, and turns back to Vanessa. But my stomach twists, because that look from James wasn't stress. It was character. James, I say, voice low, that was rude. He blinks. What was? The way you said maintenance, like it was an insult. I was stating a fact. You were being condescending. James's eyes narrow. Are you seriously correcting me right now? Yes, I say, surprising myself with how steady my voice is, because we're stuck in here together, and I'm learning things. What does that mean? He snaps. It means frustration is fine, I say. Mean isn't. He laughs, humorless. Wow, good to know where I stand. Before I can respond, the hoodie guy lifts his phone again. The camera is pointed at James like he's expecting fireworks. Gavin notices and steps sideways, blocking the lens with his shoulder. Put it away, he says, voice flat now. The hoodie guy smirks. Relax, people love drama. Vanessa makes a small sound like she's about to slide back into panic. Gavin crouches slightly so he's eye level with her. Vanessa, look at me. She does. In for 4, he says, demonstrating a slow inhale. Out for 4. She follows him. The suit guy finally speaks, voice tight. I'm going to miss my flight. Gavin glances at him. Where are you headed? Chicago, the man says. My daughter's due today. I'm supposed to be there. That hits me in the chest. Oh my god, the man's jaw tightens. Yeah, Gavin nods once like he's carrying the weight with him now. We'll get you out, he says. What's your name? Spencer. Spencer, okay, you text your daughter yet? No signal, Spencer says bitterly. Gavin looks at the ceiling panel. When the fire team gets the door open, sometimes signal bounces back for a second. If it does, you send one message. Short. Clear. Ready? Spencer's eyes flicker with something like hope. Yeah, the headphone woman finally speaks, voice quiet. I'm Autumn. No one asked, but she says it anyway, like naming herself is a way to stay grounded. I hate this. Autumn adds, swallowing. But you're good at this. She's looking at Gavin. Gavin gives her a small nod. It's just problem solving. James snorts. Problem solving, sure. I want to tell him to shut up. I want to tell him that the way he's acting is embarrassing. But the elevator shudders again. A loud clunk above us. Vanessa gasps. That's them, Gavin says immediately. Rescue team, you're okay. The hoodie guy's phone is up again, recording the clunk, the gasps, James's face. Dude, Autumn says, sharper now. Can you not? Too late, the hoodie guy says, voice excited. I'm live. My blood drains. What? I started streaming when the Wi-Fi flickered back, he says proudly. It's going crazy. James stiffens. You're live? Yeah, the guy says. People love elevator stuff. There's a whole niche. I feel like I'm gonna throw up, because I know what's on that stream. James blaming me. James sneering. Me standing there, dressed up, looking like the kind of girl who tolerates that. Gavin's gaze snaps to the phone. His voice drops. Turn it off. No way, the guy says. This is viral. James steps forward, eyes wild. Turn it off right now. He reaches for the phone. The hoodie guy yanks it back. Hands off! James lunges again. Vanessa yelps. Spencer jerks away. Autumn stands up fast, pressed against the wall like she's trying to vanish. Gavin moves between James and the streamer in one smooth motion, placing a hand flat against James's chest. Stop, he says. Not loud, not aggressive, just absolute. James looks down at Gavin's hand like it's contamination. Don't touch me. Then don't start something you can't finish. Gavin replies. They lock eyes. James is taller, broader, dressed like he belongs on a billboard. Gavin looks like he belongs in the background of your life, fixing things you never notice. But Gavin doesn't move, doesn't blink. And James, my perfect match, looks suddenly unsure of himself. The speaker crackles. Okay, folks, doors are opening. Stay calm. Step out one at a time. Light slices through the seam as the doors part. We're stopped about 3 feet below floor 15. A firefighter reaches down, gloved hands steady. One at a time, the firefighter says. Careful stepping up. Vanessa goes first, trembling. Gavin guides her, hand hovering without touching unless she asks. The firefighter pulls her up. Spencer goes next, face tight with urgency. Autumn follows, quick and silent. The streamer kid keeps filming, phone angled over his shoulder like a victory flag. James pushes past me to get out next. He doesn't offer a hand. He doesn't look back. I stand there, frozen, heat rising in my throat. Gavin appears beside me like he's been watching for the moment I might break. You good? He asks quietly. I shake my head because the truth is stuck somewhere behind my teeth. Give me your hand, he says. I do. He braces me as I step up. The firefighter takes my other arm. I climb out into the bright hallway, blinking like I'm waking up. There's a small crowd of residents. Building staff. Someone with a clipboard. Someone else with a phone already pointed at us. James is already walking toward the stairwell, shoulders tight, as if he can outrun the narrative. The streamer kid is talking animatedly to a woman who looks like she just found a story to post. I feel exposed. Like the elevator didn't just trap us physically, it trapped me in a version of myself I don't want the world to see. A woman with a tablet approaches. Hi, she says, voice practiced. I'm Kelsey with building management. Are you okay? We need to document for an incident report. I answer her questions mechanically. Name, apartment number, any injuries, no injuries. Kelsey's eyes flick past my dress, my makeup, my shaking hands. If you need medical attention, I'm fine, I say, even though I don't feel fine. When she moves on, the hallway noise swells around me. My phone vibrates. Signal is back. Notifications stack so fast they blur. I tap one without thinking. A video link. A grainy screenshot of the elevator. My face in the corner, wide-eyed, trapped. The caption reads, Woman trapped with mystery maintenance guy while date melts down. I hit play, and there it is. James's voice. What did you do? My stomach drops. The comments are brutal. She picked him. That's on her. Maintenance guy is the only adult in there. The date is giving I yelp at baristas. Why does she look like she wants to disappear? Girl, run. I close the app like it burned me. My phone buzzes again. A text from my best friend Lauren. Paige. Are you okay? I just saw the video. Call me right now. My throat tightens. I can't call her yet. Not while I'm still shaking. I take the stairs down because I cannot step into another elevator. My legs feel like they belong to someone else. In the lobby, James is waiting near the exit like he's been pacing the whole time. He looks up when I approach, and his expression is hard. Defensive. Already rehearsing. That guy ruined everything, James says. Which guy? I ask, though I know. The streamer. He spits. Now I look like a jerk. You were a jerk, I say. His head snaps back like I slapped him. Excuse me? In the elevator, I say. Voice steady now because anger is easier than humiliation. You blamed me. You dismissed Gavin. You didn't help anyone. You just complained. James scoffs. I was stressed. We were trapped. Everyone was trapped, I say. Everyone was stressed. You were the only one who made it worse. He laughs, sharp and cold. So you're judging me based on 20 minutes? That's insane. 20 minutes is a long time when you're stuck in a box, I say. His eyes narrow. Wow. Okay, good to know. I guess I dodged a bullet. He turns and walks out the door like I'm the problem, like I'm the one who failed. I stand there watching him go. And something in me aches. Not for him, but for the version of him I built in my head. My phone vibrates again. More comments. More strangers. I sit on a lobby bench and try not to cry. A minute later, someone sits beside me. It's Gavin. He doesn't speak immediately. He just sits. Elbows on his knees. looking at his hands like he's deciding how much to say. Rough day, he says finally. A laugh slips out of me, cracked and helpless. You could say that. You shouldn't read the comments, he says. Too late. Gavin nods once. Yeah, they're brutal. How are you so calm? I ask, voice small. You're in the video too, he shrugs. I've been on the internet before. It blows over. Does it? I ask, because right now it feels permanent. Eventually, he says. The internet moves fast. It's a wave. It crests. It falls. I want to believe him. I don't. My name's out there. I whisper. Someone tagged me. Gavin's head tilts. Paige. I stare at him startled. How do you know my name? I sign for your packages sometimes, he says. Paige from 1412. Heat floods my face. He's known my name for months. I never bothered to learn his until today. I'm sorry, I say. For what? For not noticing you, I say, and the words feel embarrassingly true. I've lived here a year. I see you all the time, and I never even said hi. Gavin's mouth lifts slightly. People are busy. That's not an excuse, I say. I did what James did. I decided who you were without looking. Gavin's eyes soften. You're not like him. How do you know? I ask, because I suddenly don't trust my judgment. Because you called him out, Gavin says. And because you're sitting here feeling sick about things you didn't even do. My phone buzzes again. I flip it face down. I have work. I whisper. They're going to see it. My coworkers, my manager, everyone. Gavin nods like he's already thinking 3 steps ahead. Then you get ahead of it. I blink. What? Don't let the internet introduce you, he says. You introduce you. The advice hits like cold water. I exhale. I don't even know what to say. Say the truth, Gavin says. Short, clean, no drama. He stands. I should get back. Power's on, but we've got inspections. Right, I say, swallowing. Thank you. Gavin pauses. For what? For being decent, I say, and my voice cracks on the last word. Gavin nods once. Take care of yourself, Paige. He walks away, and I sit there alone with my phone face down like it's a bomb. I force myself to breathe. Then I turn the phone back over. I call Lauren. She answers on the first ring. Paige, I'm alive, I say. Oh my God, Lauren blurts. Are you okay? That video is everywhere. My group chat is losing it. My stomach flips. How bad? It's bad, Lauren says carefully, but not for you. People feel bad for you. They hate him. I close my eyes. That doesn't make it better. It kind of does, she argues. At least you're not the villain. I'm still the headline, I say. Lauren exhales. Okay, listen to me. We can handle this. You're a grown adult. You're not elevator girl. My throat tightens. They're calling me that. Let them, Lauren says. They'll move on in 2 days. That's what Gavin said. Who's Gavin? Lauren asks immediately, voice shifting into curiosity like she can smell a plot twist. I hesitate. Building maintenance. Lauren makes a sound. The calm guy? The one everyone is thirsting over? Lauren, I warn. I'm just saying, she continues. I've seen the comments. I'm not talking about that, I say, cheeks hot. Okay, she says, but I can hear her grin. Now, real problem, work. You need to tell your manager before someone else does. I swallow. I know. Call her, Lauren says. Do it now. I'll stay on the line if you want. I'll do it, I say, and my voice shakes because I hate confrontation more than I hate being trapped in an elevator. I hang up. I stare at my manager's number. My thumb hovers. Then I hit call. She answers on the second ring. Paige? Hi, I say quickly. I need to tell you something before you hear it from someone else. There's a pause. Okay, I was in a viral elevator video yesterday, I say, the words absurd and humiliating. It's everywhere. It's me. And a date. It's not great. Another pause. Then, to my surprise, my manager laughs softly. Not mean. Not amused at me, just at the ridiculousness of the world. Paige, she says, I've already seen it. My heart drops. Oh, but, she adds quickly, I'm not calling you about that. I'm calling you about the client meeting tomorrow. Are you okay to present? I blink. Present? You're the lead, she says. If you need coverage, we can find it, but I need to know. The fact that she's treating me like a professional instead of a meme makes my eyes burn. I can present, I say. I can do it. Good, she says. Then here's my advice. Come in tomorrow like you always do. If anyone brings it up, keep it short. We don't feed it. Okay? Okay, I whisper. And Paige, she adds, your job isn't in danger because you got stuck in an elevator. I exhale shaky. Thank you. After I hang up, I sit in silence. For the first time since the elevator stopped, I feel something other than panic. I feel resolve. I'm not going to let this be the story of me. That night, my phone lights up with a message from James. Hey, I think we got off on the wrong foot. That clip was edited. You know I'm not really like that. Can we talk? I stare at it. The audacity is almost impressive. Edited? Like the camera invented his voice. Like the internet forced him to look down on someone doing their job. I type back, I saw you. Good luck, James. Then I block him before he can respond. The block feels like slamming a door on a fantasy. It hurts, but it also feels clean. I put my phone in a drawer. I take a shower. I lay in bed and stare at the ceiling. And I still can't sleep. Because even if the internet moves on, I have to live with what I learned. Not about James. About me. About how easily I built a person out of texts. About how quickly I ignored someone real standing right in front of me. The next morning, I walk into work like my manager told me to. My coworkers try not to stare, which is somehow worse than staring. Someone whispers. Someone laughs. Someone looks away. I keep my head up. I do my job. At lunch, a coworker slides into the seat across from me. Natalie. She's the kind of person who always knows what's trending without looking like she cares. So, Natalie says, lips twitching. Elevator girl. I flinch. Natalie holds up a hand. Not mean. I'm just checking in. That had to be awful. I exhale. It was. Natalie leans forward. For what it's worth, you didn't look stupid. You looked like someone realizing she deserved better. The words hit me unexpectedly. Thanks, I whisper. Natalie nods. Also, everyone is obsessed with the maintenance guy. I groan. Please don't. Natalie grins. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying the internet has a type. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, I say. Natalie laughs and lets it go. By the end of the day, the sting dulls slightly. Not because it's gone, but because I'm still standing. That evening, when I get home, there's a note taped to my door. Plain white paper. Need handwriting? Paige, if you want the building's incident report for your records, I can get you a copy. Also, the streamer is violating resident privacy. If he's still posting, tell me. Gavin, my chest tightens. Because this isn't flirtation. This is support. Real practical support. I pull my phone out. The video is still up. Worse. Someone clipped the worst 10 seconds of James and turned it into a loop with captions. People are stitching it, mocking him, and I'm in the corner of every clip, frozen. My skin crawls. I text Gavin, it's still up. He's posting clips too. What can we do? Gavin replies within a minute. Come to the office downstairs, we'll talk. Now. My heart jumps like that's dangerous. But the alternative is sitting alone with a problem. So I go. The building maintenance office is in the basement. Behind a door I've walked past 100 times without noticing. Inside, it smells like coffee and metal and clean rags. Gavin is at a desk with a laptop open. He looks up when I enter. You okay? He asks immediately. I'm trying, I say. He gestures to the chair. Sit. I sit. Gavin swivels the screen toward me. This is the resident privacy policy, he says. And this is the building's no recording guideline posted in the elevator. I blink. There's a guideline? Tiny sign, he says. No one reads it until they need it. Of course. Gavin clicks another tab. Kelsey's filing an incident report. The streamer's live video includes residents' faces without consent. We can submit a complaint to the platform. But it helps if you do it too. I've reported it, I say. They didn't take it down. Gavin nods like he expected that. Then we escalate. We build a case, timestamps, policy, written statement. He looks at me. You up for that? I hesitate, because this is exhausting, because I want it to disappear. But Gavin's eyes are steady, and it makes something in me straighten. Yes, I say. Gavin nods. Okay, first, we identify the streamer. My stomach drops. Do we have his info? Gavin's mouth tightens. I do. He clicks, then slides a printed tenant directory across the desk, tapping a unit number. This is Miles, Gavin says. He rents on 11. I've had issues with him before. Noise complaints, doorbell cam harassment. He thinks content excuses everything. My jaw tightens. So he's always like this? Pretty much, Gavin says, but we handle it clean. He opens a document. You're going to write a statement. Simple, facts only, no feelings. The platform doesn't care about feelings. It cares about violations. I stare at the blank page. My hands shake a little. Gavin's voice stays calm. Start with, I'm Paige. I was recorded without consent. I'm requesting removal. Then list the times you asked him to stop. Then note there were other residents. I swallow. Then I start typing. The act of doing something makes the panic recede. 10 minutes later, Kelsey appears in the doorway, tablet in hand. She looks surprised to see me. Then her face softens. Paige, I'm so sorry about all this. Thanks, I say. Kelsey looks at Gavin. I filed the management complaint. If you two are doing platform reports, I'll attach the policy. Gavin nods. Good. Kelsey turns back to me. And Paige, your lease is safe. Just in case you're worried. I hadn't even thought about that. My shoulders drop in relief. Thank you, I say, voice small. Kelsey hesitates. We're also talking to Miles about resident privacy. My stomach twists. He's going to retaliate. Gavin's jaw tightens. He won't, he says like a promise. Kelsey leaves. Gavin looks at me. Okay, next step. You report the clips, then we report them. Then we follow up with a formal letter. It's annoying, but it works. Why are you helping me? I ask suddenly. Gavin pauses, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Because it's right, he says. Then, after a beat, and because I watched you in that elevator. You weren't fine, and you didn't pretend you were. My throat tightens. I felt stupid, I admit. Gavin shakes his head. You looked human. We finished the reports. When I stand to leave, my legs feel steadier than they did all day. At the door, Gavin clears his throat. Paige, he says quieter. If you want, I can walk you up. I blink. Why? He shrugs. Because sometimes the hallway feels louder when everyone thinks they know you. I swallow and nod. Okay. We take the stairs because I still can't do elevators. And Gavin matches my pace without making it a thing. In the hallway on 14, two neighbors glance at me and then at Gavin. I brace for whispers. Gavin gives them a nod like he owns the hallway. They look away. My chest loosens. At my door, I turn. Thank you, I say again. Gavin gives me that small, quiet smile. Stop thanking me for being decent. I'm not, I say. I'm thanking you for showing up. Something flickers in his eyes. Then he steps back. Get some sleep, he says. I'll try, I whisper. That night, I sleep for 4 straight hours. It's not enough, but it's something. Before the platform removals even start, Miles tries to turn the hallway into his stage again. It happens on a Wednesday night when I come home with takeout and a headache, and the lobby feels too bright and too public. Miles is by the mailboxes, leaning against the wall like he lives there on purpose. He spots me and his mouth curls into a smile that isn't friendly. There she is, he says, loud enough for the security desk to hear. Elevator girl. My stomach tightens. I keep walking. Don't call me that. Miles laughs. You can't stop people. It's the internet. It's my life, I say. He pushes off the wall and steps into my path. You know what's crazy? You could have leaned into it. We could have done a follow-up, like a redemption arc. People love that. I stare at him. You streamed me without consent. Miles lifts his hands like I'm being dramatic. It's a public building. And you're welcome, by the way. Your followers jumped. I don't want followers, I say. I want privacy. Miles rolls his eyes. Privacy is dead. You should adapt. I feel heat rise in my face. Part of me wants to argue. Part of me wants to disappear. But then I remember what Gavin said. Introduce yourself. Don't let the internet do it. I take a slow breath. Miles, I say, forcing his name into the air like a boundary. I'm asking you once. Stop posting clips of me. Stop talking about me. Stop filming residents. He smirks. Or what? Or the building takes action, a voice says behind me. I turn. Gavin is coming out of the maintenance hallway, his expression unreadable. Miles' smirk falters just slightly. Bro, you're obsessed. Gavin stops beside me, close enough that my shoulder brushes his. Not possessive, protective. This isn't about obsession, Gavin says evenly. It's about policy and respect. Miles scoffs. Policy? Okay. Since when do you care about policy? Your maintenance. The way he says it is meant to sting. It doesn't, not this time. Gavin nods like he's bored. Since always, he says. And since you're violating resident privacy, Kelsey's drafting a notice. You'll receive it tonight. Miles' eyes narrow. You can't control what I post. Gavin's voice stays calm. No, but the platform can. And the building can. And if you keep filming residents after being instructed not to, it becomes a lease issue. Miles laughs, but it's not confident. You're bluffing. Gavin doesn't blink. Try me. For a second, the lobby is quiet except for the hum of the lights. Miles looks at me like he expects me to flinch. I don't. I hold his gaze until his smile drops. Whatever, he mutters, and storms toward the stairs like he's too cool for consequences. When he's gone, I exhale shakily. Gavin looks at me. You okay? Yeah, I say, though my hands are still trembling around my takeout bag. Thank you. Gavin shakes his head. You did that? He says. You named it. You set the boundary. I swallow. I didn't know I had it in me. Gavin's mouth lifts slightly. You've always had it in you. You just didn't have practice. The next day at work, I get my first real test. I'm in the conference room, laptop open, client deck pulled up, trying to act like I'm not a trending topic. The client team filters in. Polished suits, polite smiles, the kind of people who pretend they don't scroll social media at lunch. We start the meeting. I'm halfway through the presentation when one of the junior associates clears his throat. Sorry, he says, smiling like he thinks he's being charming. Random question, are you the elevator girl? The room freezes. My pulse spikes. And then I hear my manager's voice in my head. Keep it short, don't feed it. I meet his eyes and smile politely. Yes, I say. I was in a building outage incident. Everyone got out safe. Now, back to the campaign timeline. A few people chuckle awkwardly. The associate looks surprised I didn't spiral. My manager gives me a small nod from the end of the table. And just like that, the moment passes. We finish the presentation. We win the client's approval. When the meeting ends, Natalie catches up to me in the hallway. That was impressive, she says. I laugh under my breath. I felt like I was going to faint. You didn't, Natalie says. You didn't perform. You didn't apologize for existing. You just moved on. She pauses, then smirks. Also, you definitely just raised your professional mystique. I hate you, I say, but I'm smiling. That night, I text Gavin. I handled someone at work bringing it up. Didn't die. He replies, knew you wouldn't. Proud of you. The words hit my chest in a way that surprises me. Proud of you. Not impressed, not entertained, not chasing. Just proud. Later, when I see Gavin in the lobby, I say it out loud. I keep wondering, I admit, voice low. If you only noticed me because of the elevator. Gavin's brows draw together. What? The video, I say. The chaos. If none of that happened, would we be here? Gavin is quiet for a beat, then he shakes his head. I noticed you before, he says simply. The elevator just forced me into your orbit. I swallow. I hate that it took something so public. Gavin's gaze softens. It didn't, he says. It took you choosing better. That part was private. No one filmed that. My throat tightens. He reaches out, hesitates, then gently touches my wrist. Barely there. Don't let the internet take credit for your growth, he says. I exhale, shaky. Okay. And for the first time, I actually believe him. 2 days later, the clips start disappearing. Not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly. A report gets reviewed. A violation gets flagged. A clip gets removed. Miles posts a furious rant about censorship and Karens, which ironically makes people dislike him more. But the comments shift, from mocking me to mocking him. And I don't feel happy about that. I just feel lighter. On Friday, I run into Gavin in the lobby. He's carrying a toolbox. He looks tired. Hey, I say. He glances up and nods. Hey, the clips are coming down, I say. Good, he replies. I couldn't have done it alone. Gavin shrugs like he's allergic to credit. You did the work. I hesitate. I want to repay you. You don't owe me anything, he says. I know, I say, but I want to talk outside the building without chaos. Gavin's eyebrows lift slightly. My heartbeat jumps. Coffee? I ask quickly, before I can talk myself out of it. Or tea, or whatever you drink. Gavin studies me like he's making sure I'm not doing it out of guilt. You don't have to, he says. I want to, I say. He nods slowly. Okay, Saturday. My mouth goes dry. Saturday. Gavin's smile is small, but real. Text me. Kelsey has my number on file. He walks away before I can overthink. I go upstairs and stare at my ceiling again. But this time it feels like possibility, not dread. Saturday arrives. I pick a coffee shop 3 blocks away. Not fancy, not performative. The kind of place where no one cares who you are unless you're rude to the barista. Gavin is already there when I walk in. He's in a gray sweater instead of work clothes. He looks different. Not suddenly hot in a movie way, just softer. More like a person than a role. Hey, I say. Hey, he replies, standing like he's not sure whether to hug me. We don't hug. Yet. We order drinks. He gets black coffee. I get an oat milk latte with caramel because I am who I am. Fancy, Gavin says, lips twitching. I contain multitudes, I say. He laughs. Actually laughs. We sit by the window. For a minute, we just exist. Then Gavin clears his throat. How's work? Better, I say. People are mostly over it. Told you, he says. You did, I admit. You were right. Gavin's gaze drifts out the window. The internet's loud, he says. But real life is quieter. It wins eventually. Did you always know that? I ask. Gavin shrugs. I learned it the hard way. My stomach tightens. What happened? He hesitates, then decides to be honest. A few years ago, he says, someone filmed me in an argument at a grocery store. I was yelling. I looked like a monster. I blink. You? Gavin nods once. My mom had just gone into the hospital. I was exhausted. The cashier made a comment. I snapped. He taps his cup. The clip went around in a local group. People called me everything. My boss almost fired me. My chest tightens. What did you do? I apologized. Gavin says simply, not online, in person, to the cashier. Then I kept my head down. People moved on. He looks at me. But I never forgot how fast strangers decide who you are. My throat goes tight. I'm sorry. Gavin shakes his head. I'm telling you because I get it. Silence settles. Not awkward, just heavy with understanding. I stare at my hands. James texted me afterward. I admit, Gavin's expression doesn't change. Yeah? He said it was edited. I say. But I know he's not really like that. Gavin exhales through his nose. Classic. I blocked him, I say. Gavin nods once. Good. Is it? I ask, because sometimes cutting something off still hurts. Gavin's voice softens. He showed you who he is, he says. You believed him. That's healthy. I swallow hard. I keep believing the version of people I want, I say quietly, not the one they are. Gavin's gaze stays steady. Hoping people are good isn't a flaw, he says. Staying when they prove you wrong is. The words land like they were made for me. I blink fast. That's insightful. Gavin's mouth lifts. I read a lot. What do you read? I ask. Everything, he says. Fiction, philosophy, self-help when I'm feeling dramatic. I grin. Dramatic? Night shifts are long, he says. You need something to argue with in your head. We talk for 2 hours. About books. About the building. About how weird modern dating feels when everyone is trying to sell a version of themselves. Gavin tells me he grew up in a small town and moved to the city because he wanted anonymity. I tell him I grew up in a big city and came here because I thought smaller would feel safer. You thought wrong, he says, glancing at me. I laugh, a little bitter. Apparently, when we leave the coffee shop, Gavin walks me home without making it a question. At my door, he hesitates. I had a good time, he says. like he's surprised by the words. I did too, I say. He nods once. Okay, then he leaves and I stand there smiling like an idiot. Over the next few weeks, we keep it simple. Coffee becomes dinner. Dinner becomes walking through the city without needing a destination. He shows me his favorite bookstore, a basement place that smells like old paper and comfort. I show him my favorite rooftop bench, where the skyline looks soft at sunset. We don't perform. We don't rush. We just show up. Lauren meets Gavin and immediately tries to be normal about it, which is her version of failing. He's quiet, Lauren says afterward, like she's reviewing a product. What's that supposed to mean? I ask, amused. It means he listens more than he talks. Lauren says, that's rare. It is rare. And it makes me feel safe in a way James's polished words never did. One evening after dinner, Gavin walks me to my door and pauses. Can I ask you something? He says. Always, I say. He shifts his weight. Why did you swipe on James? The question hits like a mirror. I swallow. Because he looked stable, I admit. He had the right job, the right pictures, the right answers. Gavin's eyes flicker. And what did you think I was? I flinch. I didn't, I say honestly. Gavin nods slowly, not offended, just acknowledging reality. I saw you, he says quietly, but I didn't think you saw me. I didn't, I admit, and I hate that. Gavin studies me. You see me now? He says. I do, I whisper. He holds my gaze for a beat longer than usual. Then he reaches out, hesitates, and gently takes my hand. It's warm, steady. My chest tightens. I like you, I say suddenly, because the words feel like pressure and relief at the same time. Gavin's thumb brushes my knuckles. I like you too, he says. I have for a while. My heart jumps. Since when? Gavin's mouth lifts. Since you moved in, he admits. You always said thank you when I handed you packages, even when you were distracted. I blink. That's a low bar. Gavin shrugs. Most people don't clear it. I laugh, then my eyes burn. Because he's right. Because the world is loud and careless, and kindness is quiet and rare. A month after the elevator video, I pass Miles in the lobby. He glares at me like I stole something. I keep walking. My phone buzzes with a notification. A message request. From a new number. James. I stop. My stomach tightens. The message reads, can we talk? I'm getting dragged online. People think I'm some monster. That's not fair. I stare at it. Then I look up and see Gavin across the lobby, carrying a coil of cables. He glances at me and immediately reads my face. He walks over. What's wrong? He asks quietly. I show him the screen. Gavin's jaw tightens. He wants you to fix his reputation, he says. I swallow. I'm not going to. Gavin nods. Good. My thumb hovers. Then I block James again. The act is small, but it feels like reclaiming myself. That night I post one thing. Not an apology. Not a rant. Just a short, calm statement. Hi. I'm Paige. I got stuck in an elevator during a power outage. It was scary. I'm grateful everyone got out safely. I'm also learning a lot about character and kindness. Please don't harass anyone involved. Take care. I expect backlash. But instead, the comments shift. Some people are still mean because the internet is the internet, but others soften. They say things like, this is classy. You handled it with grace. Hope you're okay? Maintenance guy's still a king, though. I show Gavin the post the next day. He reads it and nods once. Good, he says. You didn't feed it. You're basically my PR coach, I tease. Gavin's mouth lifts. Don't tell my job. Life continues. The video fades into the endless churn of the internet. Sometimes someone recognizes me and says elevator girl, but it happens less and less. And every time it does, Gavin squeezes my hand like a reminder that I'm not trapped. In spring, Gavin tells me he's thinking about leaving the building. My stomach drops. Leaving? He nods. I've been here a long time, he says. I want something new. What kind of new? I ask, trying not to sound like I'm begging him not to go. Gavin hesitates. I used to want to teach, he admits. I took night classes. Then my family needed insurance. Steady work. I paused. My chest tightens. Do you regret it? Sometimes, he says. But maintenance taught me things school didn't. People, pressure, patience. He looks at me. I don't want to stay paused forever. I swallow. Then don't, I say. Gavin's eyes search mine. Would you come with me? The question is quiet, but it changes everything. I blink. Are you asking me to move? Gavin nods once, cautious. Only if you want to. No pressure. My heart pounds. A year ago, I would have panicked at the idea of changing my life for someone. Now it feels like choosing peace. I want to, I say. Gavin exhales, like he didn't realize he'd been holding his breath. So we do it slowly. We find a small apartment across town. Not fancy. Not a hard-to-book rooftop reservation kind of place. A place with sunlight and creaky floors, and a kitchen big enough for two people to exist without bumping into each other constantly. Moving day arrives. We carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs because the new building's elevator is broken. I stop on the second landing, breathless. Of course, I say. Gavin grins. Consider it cardio. I hate cardio, I say, wiping my forehead. Gavin hands me a water bottle like he's been planning for my dramatic collapse. You always have gum and water, I accuse. Preparedness, he says. That night, we sit on the floor of our empty apartment, surrounded by boxes. We eat takeout from containers. The sunset turns the room gold. Gavin leans back against the wall and looks at me. Can I tell you something? He asks. Always, I say. Gavin's voice drops. That day in the elevator, he says. When everything went wrong, I kept looking at you. My heart stutters. Why? Because you were the only one who noticed, he says. Not the outage, not the signal, the people. I frown. I was panicking. You were paying attention, Gavin says. You saw James for what he was. You didn't defend him. You didn't perform. You just chose the truth. My eyes burn. I was trying to figure out how I got it so wrong, I whisper. Gavin nods. Did you figure it out? I swallow. I confused impressive with safe, I say. I thought if someone looked good on paper, they'd be good in real life. Gavin's gaze stays on mine. And what's real? What you do when things fall apart, I say. Gavin's mouth lifts slightly. Okay, he says. I lean into his shoulder. For a long moment, we just breathe. Then the words slip out before I can overthink. I love you, I whisper. Gavin goes still. His hand tightens around mine. Say that again, he says, voice rougher. I love you, I say louder. Gavin turns and kisses me, soft and slow, like he's not trying to take anything. Just meet me where I am. I love you too, he says. And in that moment, surrounded by boxes and cheap takeout and the quiet hum of a normal life, I feel more chosen than any rooftop reservation ever could have made me feel. A few months later, Gavin asks if I'll walk with him. We're back near the old building for errands, and my stomach tightens automatically when I see the brass elevator doors. Why are we here? I ask, nervous. Gavin's mouth lifts. lifts. Just trust me. I swallow and nod. We step into the lobby. The marble floors shine like they always did. The elevator dings. The doors open. My heart stops. Inside the elevator is a small table with a single flower in a glass vase. Candles, battery candles, safe and practical, line the corners. I stare. Gavin? He scratches the back of his neck like he's suddenly shy. I asked Kelsey. He admits. She helped. She owes me favors. My throat tightens. This is insane. Gavin presses the elevator button and the doors close. But the elevator doesn't move. It stays parked in the lobby like the building is holding its breath. Gavin turns to face me. Remember that day? He asks quietly. Unfortunately, I say, trying to smile through the emotion swelling in my chest. Gavin nods. I hated seeing you trapped, he says. Not just in the elevator. In that moment. In that version of yourself where you thought you had to tolerate someone being cruel just to feel chosen. My eyes burn. Gavin? He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small box. My breath catches so hard it hurts. I know this is cheesy, Gavin says, voice shaking slightly, but I wanted it here, because this is where I realized I was in love with you. He opens the box. A ring. Simple. Beautiful. Not flashy. Just real. Paige, Gavin says. Yes, I whisper. Will you marry me? He asks. Not because you're perfect, because you're honest, because you see people. Because you chose better. Tears spill down my cheeks before I can stop them. Yes, I say immediately. Gavin's shoulders sag with relief like he's been holding that question in his chest for months. He slides the ring onto my finger with careful hands. Then he laughs, breathless, and presses his forehead to mine. I can't believe you said yes that fast, he murmurs. I learned my lesson, I whisper. If it's real, I don't overthink it. The elevator starts moving. Slow, smooth. We rise up, not trapped this time, just lifted. When the doors open at the rooftop level, my breath catches again. Lauren is there. Natalie. Kelsey. Vanessa from the elevator day. Smiling now, steady, holding a small bouquet. Spencer, too, laughing as he wipes his eyes, holding his phone like he's recording for the right reasons now. And two guys I recognize from Gavin's stories, Wyatt and Adrian, standing beside him like they've been in on this. They cheer when we step out. I laugh through tears. Lauren runs forward and hugs me so hard my ribs protest. Do you know how hard it was to keep the secret? She whispers. I hug her back. Thank you. I choke out. Vanessa steps closer, eyes bright. I never got to thank you, she says. Thank me? I ask, confused. You stayed kind in that elevator, Vanessa says. Even when your date was not kind. You reminded me not everyone is selfish. My throat tightens. I don't remember feeling kind. I remember feeling embarrassed. But maybe kindness looks different from the inside. We celebrate that night on the rooftop with food and laughter and the kind of joy that doesn't need an Instagram filter. Later, Gavin and I slip away to the edge, where the city lights flicker below. I have a question, Gavin says. Another one? I tease, holding up my hand with the ring. Gavin smiles. When did you know? He asks. Know what? That you loved me, he says. I stare out at the skyline thinking. Then I look back at him. The bagels, I say. Gavin laughs incredulous. Really? You showed up, I say. Without being asked, without wanting anything. Just to make sure I was okay. Gavin's eyes soften. That's such a small thing. It's not small, I say. It's everything. Gavin wraps an arm around my shoulders. We stand there in the wind, the city humming below us. I matched with perfect, I say softly, and then I got stuck with wrong. Gavin's mouth lifts. Is that a complaint? I shake my head, smiling through the tears that keep coming. No, I say. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Gavin kisses my forehead. Same, he murmurs. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not chasing anything. I'm home.